Okay. We are at Contorno's Restaurant at 30 West 31st Street in Manhattan. And we are at Remedy Designs Fall Collection Preview. And our designer is with us, Ashely McAleavy. So welcome to the program. We are all about the environment, Tony and I, on the Progressive Union. So tell us about your designs, what Remedy Designs is all about.
Okay, so Remedy is my label. Remedy Designs is the name of the business, remedydesigns.biz website. It's all about upcycling and making brand new fashion, it's one of a kind and custom women's wear dresses, a lot of party dresses, and it's all about just being more sustainable in our fashion choices.
So define to those that don't know what upcycling is, I love that word, and what sustainable is. Define those two things for us.
So upcycling is taking, in my case, what I do to upcycle is I take vintage garments and secondhand garments that are damaged or slightly off, maybe they're just dated and no one would wear that silhouette today. So, and then I change it, I tailor it, I dye it, I do whatever I see fit to make it more modern and look fabulous for today, and you can't even tell, that it's upcycled.
That's fantastic.
That's the idea.
I'm a lover of vintage clothes. I'm a child of the 80s, so I'm dating myself how old I am, but we all bought vintage clothing, and we wore vintage clothing. We bought them off the streets in Manhattan where people used to sell clothes in the street, and when the cops came, they ran away. So you could get a dress for $5. So I wore vintage clothes all through the 80s, and that's all I could afford. So I love that. I still buy vintage clothing. I go to a place called Unique in Westbury, and I have some dresses that are from the 1960s with a ladies garment workers union tag inside from the 1960s. And
I know when I find pieces like that, I don't like to buy vintage that's not damaged, but when I find beautiful pieces that I just have to, I can't pass them up. I also sell vintage, but typically I like to buy slightly damaged pieces, because those are the ones that people don't know what to do with. And
they can't wear them.
Oops.
We had a little person in the shot.
So yeah, typically I like to buy damaged pieces.
Well, there was
don't end up in the landfill.
That I loved, and I found out that dress, it had a hole, I believe, in the back, like a big hole. And that's because it was sustainable.
Oh,
the hole was what I loved.
It was the gold cut out,
which I would never be able to fit into, even if I starved for a year.
That was a beautiful dress, but there was a stain right down the front of it. And so I flipped it around. I flipped the bodice around. I kept the skirt, the way that it was. Flipped the bodice around and cut out the stain, so that it was like, cut out in the back.
And it was beautiful, folks. I'm telling you right now, one of a kind. So all of your clothes are one of a kind. So when you show up at a party, there isn't like,
no one
another
else
woman
is
showing
have that
up.
Dress. Exactly. I think that's why I'm focused on the dresses, because I know that women, when they're dressing for a special occasion, you want to know that no one else is going to have your dress. And if you buy it from, not to name any names, but you buy it from H&M, whatever,
somebody else is going to have the same outfit.
Yeah,
of course. It's
and
mass market.
If it's mass produced, it could be very high end, and somebody else could still have it.
So you feel unique and original. So so you tell me how you started in fashion, like how did you end up in fashion and your path to sustainable clothing? How did you get here?
I studied at FIT, the Fashion Institute. Fashion design was my associates, and in my bachelor's I wanted to learn more of the business aspect of the industry, so I moved into international trade and marketing, where I took a corporate responsibility class, and basically everything, my business plan spawned from that class.
There's such a thing as corporate responsibility.
There is, and a lot of people don't practice it.
For my listeners, we really need more people taking that class. Anyway, I digress.
A lot of people don't practice it, but everyone should. And it led me to think of, fashion is a little bit frivolous. I'm going to dedicate my life to this. I want it to be meaningful. I want to do something that's worthwhile and just more than just making a dress over and over and over again. I wanted to see if I could better people's lives, the
Take it to a
planet.
higher level.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the fact that you take things and make them new. I love the old school, and I like that you take like a dress that maybe is from the 50s or the 60s and you make it new, and when a young person sees it, they think, wow, that's really cool. I love that. I love that part of it, because I love vintage. I'll wear vintage as is, but the young people won't do that. I love recycle, and I love the fact that there's no waste.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you have to do with the clothes to make them okay for people to wear? There must be some process that you have to use with the fabric, like to make it safe for people, because maybe clean.
No, everything's steamed and dry cleaned as soon as I pick it up. I shop up. I get a lot from clothing swaps, donations. I take donations, and I also buy from sorting companies, which is where vintage buyers would buy their garments. So yeah, and then when I take that back to my office, everything's clean and sterilized before I even work with it.
So how do people find your clothes, and what's the price range of the clothes? Because they are original.
Yes, it's a contemporary price point. For day dresses and such, they start at around $150. Evening wear is it can be a little bit more expensive, but as we said, it's one of a kind.
Nobody else will be showing up looking like you.
Exactly, yeah. And then if it's a custom order, it would be a little bit more expensive.
Do you do things like wedding dresses? Yeah.
I haven't yet. I do have a dress that I showed in my last collection to be a wedding gown, but it's a very petite size, and I still have it. It's not sold yet.
You have to find somebody who can fit it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the challenge. Is that it is one of a kind, and it's like
it's not one
finding.
size fits all.
Yeah, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. Finding the perfect dress
and the perfect person to fit into the dress.
Yeah.
So tell people how they can find your clothes, see your clothes.
Remedydesigns.biz is my website, so they can. Everything's online. You can buy online as well. If you have questions, you can email me. Contact, and there's everything that you need is on there.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for talking with us.
Doreen.
And if anybody's interested, go to the website.
Thank you.